Hi everyone, this is our movie on grading for 8th grade science for both Mr. Condit and Mrs. Brent's class. I'm Mr. Condit, you're having to listen to me because I have the movie program on my computer. At any rate, the grading for 8th grade science is weighted and it's broken into 3 areas. The first area is daily work. It's worth 10% of the grade. This is very self-explanatory. These are basically all the activities we're doing in class. As mentioned in previous movies, the students will turn in all their daily work as a packet with their final unit test at the end of every unit. And that work is worth 10% of their grade. Vocabulary is worth 20% of their grade. We will be building a science vocabulary dictionary in their notes. And we'll occasionally take tests on those. Those tests are worth 20% of their grade. And then the final big one, as you can see, are our unit tests. And they are worth 70% of the grade. These are very important. We only have about 3 of these per trimester, so they don't come around long. So these are very important that the students do well on. And because they're so important, Mrs. Brent and I have made a tool that the students in the past have found very useful that will help them in a number of ways on these unit test scores. And that comes in the form of a practice test. These practice tests will look very similar to the tests we take in class. They're not the exact same test, of course. And they will appear online multiple days prior to the test. You'll be able to find these on our website. And we will also try and notify you by email when we put these on so that you have a little alert so that you can hopefully encourage your child to take the practice test. Now, a practice test by itself, if we just had the students take the test at home, I'm not sure how that would be helping them because they would have no way of telling if what their accuracy was or how well they knew the material. Because of that, and to make these more worthwhile, we also include an answers movie with every practice test, and viewing these are just essential to making these practice tests worthwhile. And of course, what Mrs. Brent and I hope students will do is download the test itself, take the test and maybe struggle with it a little bit, look in their notes to try and find the answers, but when they're done, go to the answers movie, and Mrs. Brent and I will walk them through every question, tell them what the correct answer is, tell them where in their notes that they can find this, and this is really the essential part of having the practice test be of value. And finally, the practice tests are also important because we do allow a retake for every unit test, but the practice test has to be done to qualify for that retake. And we are sticklers about that. We have had instances where students take the test, they don't score well, and then they want to do the practice test after the fact, and that of course is a little bit backwards and we don't allow that. So the practice test, 1, help them prepare for the test, 2, allow them to do a retake of the test. Now for retakes, students will have 1 opportunity to do a retake. The retake does require completing the entire practice test, which means you have to have all the necessary corrections completed. You can't have any half-done practice tests or any practice tests with wrong answers on them. And finally, retakes have to be done within a week of getting their graded tests back. They can be completed after school, or if it's available during a week care activity. We have week care activities once a month. Sometimes they line up with when we do these, when we're doing a retake. Sometimes they don't. But at any rate, they can do it either after school always, or they can do it during school if we happen to have a week care available. And then the final thing on a retake, students can't receive 100% of their points on a retake, but they do get 75% of their improvement points. And what that means is this. One example would be if you had a student that scored a 60 on their test, and then they came and did a retake, and they got all of their mistakes corrected, so they got a 100 on their retake, that would be an improvement of 40%. They could qualify for 30% of those points. So they could go from a 60 to a 90. So they can still improve dramatically. They just can't get up to 100. And that is it on our grading. We hope it's straightforward. If you have any questions, email us or call us. Thanks for watching.